It's an absolutely gorgeous Sunday evening here sitting on the porch with Miss Cutter, and I was thinking about when I was about 15 years old. I started talking to my mother and stepfather about wanting something to drive, and so I told the stepfather. He said, "What you looking for?" And I said, "I've always liked the super sports, the Chevrolets, and Chevelle, a Camaro, or something of that nature." And so I had a little old job in town working at the Texaco and was making some money every week. And I thought I could afford a used car, and so I was working and going to school too. I think I was putting in close to 48 hours a week. So I worked seven days a week. I didn't have any time to go looking for a car. So my stepfather, he went out, started looking for me an automobile, and I was at work, and he drove up in a big old land yacht, a big old Impala. It had a big engine in it. And, it was a nice car, but it wasn't exactly what I was looking for. And I drove it, and it drove out good and everything. But like I said, it was more a family car. And so it wasn't long before I found out what his angle was on that, because my stepfather, he was a really good man. I really did think a lot of him. But he told me, he said, "Son, if you don't want this car, I got the little old Nova I bought about 4 years ago, and if you want it," I said, "me and your mama just take this Impala." And little old Nova, it was a nice looking little old car, 1970 Chevy Nova that he had bought brand new for about $2,200, but it was just a regular stock Nova. It just had a power glide transmission along with a 230 straight 6-cylinder engine. But I couldn't say no to him, because I saw that he really did like that Impala himself. So I said, "Sure, I'll take the Nova." So I got that little old Nova, and that car wound up being one of the best cars I've ever owned in my life. I tell you what's the truth. It took all the abuse that a young teenage boy could shell out. I'd get angry, and I'd take it out on that little old Nova, and she hung tough with me. But it was a good little old car. But of course I had to do my modifications and put chromes on it, and air shocks, jacked it up in the rear end, and had little old donuts up on the front, and bought me some big old wide tires to go on the back. And boy, I thought I was hot rodding. But it sure did run out strong to be a little old 6-cylinder. A lot of the other boys I knew and went to school with, they thought sure as the world it had a V8 in it. But it was a little old good car. I really did like it, and had it a few years. I wished I still had it today, because like I said, it was one of the best automobiles that I ever had. But I had those big old tires on the back of it, and you know they cost a fortune with those chromes all around it. But I saved up my money, and I told my mom I wanted to buy some wheels and tires, so she rode with me down to the tire store, and I put those big old wheels on the back of that car. And you know how it is when you're young and got something flashy you want to show off. And I pulled into the local pizza place that we hung out there in town, and I punched that little old Nova out, and it was flying down that hill, and all of a sudden I hit the emergency brakes, and I slid in place on those brand new tires, and thinking I was being cute, but being a fool is what I was. Because after I let off on that emergency brake, right where I had slid on that new wide tire I bought for that Nova, it'd burn it all the way down in that one spot, and I'd go down the road, and you could hear that big old tire back there going thump, thump. Here I was, done spent all that money on it, and done ruined my tire back there. But I guess young and foolish, and having no expenses at the time, that's the sort of thing you do without even thinking about it. But I thought I'd tell you guys about my story about my first little old car. Chevy 2 Nova, 1970. It was a good one. Appreciate y'all listening. Y'all take care.